Okay, hi everyone. I always feel like I have to be like on once I start recording. We're live. This is a super exciting night. We are kicking off a 6-week series that is all about finishing the year strong. And this is being put on by our health and wellness company, our community, which is Isogenics. But we're opening it up to everyone because this conversation is actually about finishing your business and your personal goals in a really strong way. So we're going to be sharing things all on the topics of personal development, leadership, sales and marketing. And you can kind of choose your own adventure. We hope you'll tune in for all of the calls and just glean the value that you can from these conversations. But this is not going to be specific to Isogenics or specific to any one company or agenda. We truly just wanted to give back and open this conversation up to everyone, to all of our friends and to the people who are out there impacting the world in their own unique way. So I am very excited about the guest that we have to kick off the series. And we thought this topic was really the best way to start. And that is the topic of creating a clear vision for what you want your life, your business, the next 60 days or the end of the year to look like. And I just want to start off by sharing, I was in a business mastermind a couple of weeks ago, and one of the speakers said something that really hit me. Because I don't know about you, but I get to points in my life, whether it's in my health and fitness, sometimes it's in my business, sometimes even in my relationships, where I just feel stuck or I feel like things aren't moving forward. And I think we've probably all been there, if we're being honest. I definitely have been there. And what he said was, when you feel stuck, it's likely because you don't have a vision. Or I think it can also mean maybe you're just not connected to the vision that you do have. Because a vision does just that. It pulls us forward. It inspires us to action. It reminds us why we're doing the activity that we're doing. And so it's obviously the perfect choice to kick off this conversation about how do you want to finish up 2018, and then how do you want to start 2019? So the person that I knew would just be perfect to lead us through this conversation is my dear friend, Jill Petersen. And I met Jill through personal development. Go figure. We did a personal development course together, gosh, probably like 6 years ago now. And we've been friends ever since. And I have watched her go on from being a participant in a personal development course to leading and inspiring teams in companies like Lululemon and others around the country in this exact conversation, setting up vision and goals. She now is launching her own venture called Harmonia, and you can all check out her website. It's just like it sounds, Harmonia. We'll put it in the comments. And so I really just asked her to jump in and lead this conversation in whatever way she sees fit. So I'm going to get to participate along with you all. And we'll talk for maybe the next 40 minutes or so. And then if you have questions, we will definitely leave question time at the end. So jot them down if you have questions for Jill. So with that, I am going to hand it over.
Yay! Okay, Linz, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And all of you on the screen, it's so nice to see faces. I've heard a lot about each of you. So it's really fun to be in your company. I'm really excited for the next little bit. Before we kick this off, does everybody have a pen and paper handy? Or something to jot ideas and thoughts down? Sorry, we could have queued you up in like a little text message or in like a comment before this began, but there's going to be some work done journaling or just kind of jotting down thoughts as we go through this experience. So I just want to make sure I give you a couple of minutes to grab what you need. And when you're ready, if like you guys can give me like a thumbs up for those of you on my screen, just so I know. Okay, cool. You guys are ready. And then for those of you on the phone, Nicole Benedetti, you're in a sauna, so you can tune in. You can grab a piece of paper, maybe you sweat on it a little bit. It'll all be good. Okay, cool. Oh, there's chat. I forgot. Oh, she's chatting. Hi from the sauna. Okay, this is so fun. Okay, awesome. So seems like everybody got what they needed. Pen and paper were ready to go. So when Lindsay and I were talking about the intention of this call, does anybody have Alexa at their house when you're like, Alexa, play this, or what's the measurement of this? So I have Alexa in my kitchen, and I was like, Alexa, how many weeks until January 1st? And then she, in her robotic voice, jumped on and told me we have 8 weeks until January 1st. And then I asked her another question, Alexa, how many days until January 1st? And we have 57 days until January 1st. So talking to Linz about the intention of this call and what I wanted to come on and deliver was I want you guys at the end of this call to answer one question. I want you guys to be able to answer, what do you want to be proud of at the end of the year? So when we think of vision and goals, when I lead this work, oftentimes it's at the beginning of January or at the beginning of something new. So it could be a new quarter, it could be the new year, it could be anytime someone is creating something new from themselves. This is where I usually come in and deliver this message. But what's fun is that we get to kind of flip the script and say, how do we want to end the year versus waiting these 57 days or waiting these 8 weeks to finish strong? Because this is our time to evaluate habits or just kind of fine tune those fundamentals that could really break through or that could really, create a breakthrough for goals in our life or big dreams that we have. So this conversation that we're creating is a tune-up. Everybody on this call has drive. You all are achievers. You all are here for a reason. So I don't need to even have that conversation with you. And knowing that I only have 40 minutes, I was like, okay, what and where can we get started in this conversation of at the end of the year being proud of the work or the person that you are? Where do I start in this conversation? So here is what we're going to do. I'm first going to talk you through an exercise called the Wheel of Life. And then from there, I'm going to lead you through a meditation or a visualization around this conversation around the Wheel of Life. And then we'll go into specifics. How do we actually, what's our how? What are the steps to us achieving this goal? How are we going to hold ourselves accountable? What do we need to talk through so that you guys walk away from this conversation feeling really set up to take this into your life starting now, tomorrow? And then what's cool about the next 6 weeks is that this group of people get to be our reminder every single week that we jump on this call. It's like, okay, oh shoot, it's Monday. Where am I at with what I said I'm going to do? It's a really cool check-in. So does that sound good for you guys? Is that why you guys jumped on the phone to be like, yeah, I'm super excited to kind of figure out where I can dust on cobwebs, where I can focus my attention so that you can end the year proud, so that you can feel really proud saying that you did everything that you could in 2018. We ready to rock? Okay, yeah. All right, so for those of you who just popped on, if you don't have a pen and paper handy, grab one right now. So what we're going to do, and sorry if you guys heard my kids just kicking and screaming down the door, don't mind them. They should be in bed, but they're not. So my husband's, if you hear some cries, it's totally fine, just my kids. So what we're gonna do, I want you guys to grab, oh, look it, there's another little one. Hi, buddy. You're here too. Hi, sweet boy. You're so cute. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I want you guys to grab a piece of paper, and I want you guys to draw a really big circle, like the one that I have on the screen. And then what you're gonna do is divide this pie or this circle into 8. So cut it in half, then cut it horizontal. So then you have 8 little pieces of your pie. This is called the Wheel of Life. So in just a moment, every section is going to represent an area of your life. So wherever you want to start, so if you want to start in one of the sections, the first piece of your pie or the first piece of your wheel, I want you to write family. The second piece, I want you to write romance. The third, I want you to write fun/recreation. The fourth, I want you to write money. So this is how it's all kind of turning out, just so you guys, my visual learners, can see as well. Okay, the fifth piece is personal growth. The sixth is your physical environment/home. Your seventh is career. And the last piece of the wheel of life, is your health. So go ahead and write health. So now your wheel of life should be like this. It should, like every little piece of your wheel should be completed by the 8 different categories of your life. And when I lead vision and goal work, I like to have people see that pretty much these 8 components make up your life. Would you guys agree? Like thumbs up, totally agree. Okay, cool. So give me just a second because I also have notes that I took. So I want to make sure that I can pull that up really quickly. Okay. Linz, can you still see me if I pull my notes up?
Yes, so if you share your screen, we'll still be able to see your face like in a little box in the corner if you want to.
Can you see me now or no?
Yeah, but we don't see anything on your screen.
Oh, got it. Okay. You guys don't need to worry about seeing what's on my screen. I just didn't know if okay.
Yes.
Okay. Basic Zoom Learner 101. Okay, cool. So before we dive into the Wheel of Life, I just want to give a quick definition of what a vision is and what a goal is. Now, for those of you on the phone, I know this is not new to you guys, but this is just for us to kind of ground ourselves in this conversation that we're going to be discussing. So your vision isn't something that needs to be created, and it already exists within you. You just need to get in touch with it. So your vision is the bigger picture of your desired outcomes. It's an internal representation of what is most important to you. It's exciting, inspiring, compelling, and filled with positive emotions. And it gives you all the feels. So a goal, on the other hand, is a specifically designed milestone that requires completion if you are to get to the end of your yellow brick road. The downside is that a goal may not necessarily provoke positive emotions. Goals are simply stepping stones on the path that lead you to your ultimate destination. So the vision is, again, it's what's inside of you. It's what you imagine and dream up of. And then from your vision, we break it down into smaller steps to accomplish what you want in your life. Is that clear for everybody? Does anybody want to pop on and ask a question around the difference between vision or goals?
I love that distinction that they aren't the same thing. Because so often I think I get goal focused, but not looking at a goal within an overarching vision. So I love that.
Awesome. Good. Thanks for sharing, Linz. Anybody else? Okay, we feel clear. Mary, I saw you pop on for a second. I didn't know if you wanted to say anything.
Hi, I don't know what the question was.
Oh, you're totally fine. The question was, does anybody have a question around the difference between what a vision is and what goals are?
So for those of you who don't know my background and how I'm connected with Jill, I had the privilege of working with her and underneath her at Lululemon for about 3 years. So you all are in for a treat if you don't already know that as far as vision and goals are concerned. So I don't have any questions as far as what the difference between those two things are, because you took me under your wing long ago and explained that to me 7 years ago.
Phew. Okay, so for those of you who are listening in who don't know me, hopefully you'll have that same response by the end of this call. So thank you, Mary, my hype girl. I hired her to be on this call, so thank you. Okay, you guys, so we're clear with what the difference between a vision and goal. So the reason why I'm having you guys look visually at your life in these 8 areas right now. I want you, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is it's non-existent, and then from a 3 could be like, I'm kind of working on it. 5, you're like halfway there. You're 1 toe in, you're 1 toe out. And then a 10 is you're completely thriving in this area. So in each section of your wheel of life, I want you to rate where you're at right now. Not like where you want to be and not where you've been. I want you to think of the season of your life. Where are you? And this is where you guys get to be really vulnerable and really honest with yourself of where you are in each area of your life. So I'm going to give you about 1.5 minutes to think through where you want to rate yourself in family, in health, in your career, money, personal growth. So I'll give you guys a second. And if anybody wants to pop on and ask a question, by no means is this me like just talking at you. I want this to be a conversation that we generate together. So feel free if you have a question or you're stuck to pop on and ask a question.
Can you hold up that wheel of life paper so I could see what the categories are?
Yeah, honey. Do you want me to run through them really quick for you?
I would love that.
Okay. So number 1 is family. Number 2 is romance. Number 3 is fun and recreation. Number 4 is money. Number 5 is personal growth. Number 6 is physical environment / home. Number 7 is career. And then number 8 is health.
Thank you.
You got it, girl. And then you're scaling yourself, Mary, from a 1 to a 10 in each section of your wheel of life.
Okay.
1 being meh, non-existent, to 10 is like, hey, girl, Call me because I'm the expert. I'm nailing this section of my life. Things are great. Thriving. Okay, I notice some of you guys are complete. What do we think? Another 30 seconds? Linz, how you doing? 30 seconds. Okay, Megan, how you doing? Good. Okay. Lizzie, you guys good? Oh, yeah, you got that wheel of life. Okay, cool. Okay. Give you about 10 more seconds. Okay. So I want to ask the group a quick question. So Linz, if you don't mind unmuting us, I want to know, why did I have you guys look at your life in these 8 categories? And why did I ask you guys to scale where you're at from a 1 to a 10?
And if you want to answer, you can just individually unmute your line. I don't think I can do a mass.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Letting everyone know they'll have to do it individually.
Okay, cool. So question again is, why did I have you guys look and evaluate your life in these 8 categories, and then scale yourself from where you are on a 1 to a 10 in this season of your life? Why do you think that we're doing this?
I think it's a good check-in.
Yep, Mary, good check-in. Sorry, Liz, what'd you say?
That's okay. I'm assuming that it's something that we can come back to and kind of measure improvement.
Yes. Both great answers. No wrong answers here. No wrong answers. Yeah, it's a way for us to, this is an amazing tool. So say at the end of these 57 days, and we all are like cheering from the rooftop and celebrating what we've accomplished and how proud we want to feel at the end of the year, we then get to say, okay, cool. Now that the holidays are over, this is a new season of life. It's a new year. Like, how else can I come back to this? And where in my life do I see an area of opportunity? So can I just have one brave soul tell me, like, where do you see yourself rating yourself lower in an area of your life?
Career.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Can you tell me your name one more time?
Albert.
Albert. Okay, Albert. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So, Albert, where, what, like on a scale of 1 to 10, where did you put your?
Oh, I put a 1.
You put a 1.
I feel
Okay.
like a job and career.
Okay, tell me more. Tell me more why you rated yourself a 1.
And just work like a 9 to 5, and I feel like it's more a job, not something I want to do, not really a career.
Okay, super clear. So do you feel that if you were to look at yourself in the next 8 weeks or the next 57 days, does this shine light on an area where you can write a goal out of, or create a vision and then goals out of that vision for you?
Yeah, I think I've set like small goals and visions. It's more I need to like execute and just go for it instead of hesitating.
Awesome. Cool. And again, none of this stuff that I'm going to be talking about tonight, you guys, that you haven't heard before. It's just probably presented in a new tool or a new way of looking at things. So, awesome. Albert, thank you. And if you don't mind putting yourself on mute, I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. I don't know, whoever is, just check your phones if you're not on mute, or your computers. Thank you. So, here's the thing, you guys. Here's the thing about goals. And just another conversation that I wanted to bring up before we dive into having you guys actually close your eyes and visualize what these next 8 weeks are going to look like. And then we can really talk through how to walk away with a tangible, like, goal and steps around that goal. So how many people on the line, for those of you who are on video, break promises to yourself? How many people are more likely to keep a promise to other people? Yeah. Because why? We're more accountable for like not disappointing the other person. And it's way easier if another person's not involved, that if it's something that we want for ourselves, we don't have anybody else to blame but us. So in this conversation of goals, I want you to really look at where you are in integrity with your word. So our words have power and our actions shape our lives. So Albert, if I were to look at you again and just to like continue the conversation of you sharing that your career is an area of opportunity for you, this could bring up a lot of stuff for you. Like you're like, okay, I've already set goals around my job or my career. And this is just another reminder for you and everybody else on the line around like keeping goals so simple, where when you can keep it so simple, it creates habits. And habits are what help us see the finish line at the end of our goals. So when we think of a goal that is that's kind of big, say we have a goal to run a marathon and we've never ran more than 5 miles. I need to like think back even further than like, okay, I'm going to strap on my sneakers and I'm going to go for a 13-mile run and I've never ran more than 5 miles. It's like, how do we peel that back even more so that we can set ourselves up for success and then continue to layer on from those small successes? So if I've never tied on my sneakers to go on a run, maybe my goal is that I'm consistently putting on my shoes for a week to see what that feels like on my feet. And then from there, I've seen success. I'm building a habit by just telling my brain that I'm going to put on my sneakers. It means something, that it's cueing me up to go and do something. And then I'm going to go, okay, from the first week, I'm now going to just walk to my mailbox. And I'm going to walk to my mailbox every single day for the next 2 weeks. And then from there, it's like we continue to build small goals to then bring it up to our bigger goal. So what I see often with people failing at their goals because they broke their promise to themselves is that it's way too big. It's way too big and it's not manageable. So how do we break a goal into bite-sized pieces so that you feel proud that you've accomplished it and that you don't feel when you slip up, you go into the self-doubt that, of course, I didn't accomplish that goal. I can never follow through with anything. Or, of course, I didn't do that. Like, I can't do anything. I can't stick to anything. I break all promises to myself. So when we go through this work, when we continue to look at the areas of your life that you want to improve upon for the next 8 weeks or 57 days, I want you guys to think of a goal or a step so granular that it is so easy to accomplish, so that we're then telling our brain, like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. How else can I layer more onto that goal so that it can continue to grow and grow and grow and grow? And you guys, we're in the right conversation. Like in 8 weeks, imagine what you guys are going to accomplish. Imagine. It's going to be amazing. So I'm going to pause for a moment because I'm going to take you into a visualization But I want you right now to take a moment on your wheel of life, and I want you to choose an area of your life that you want to focus on for the next 8 weeks. And I want you to circle it really big. So just take a quick second. Okay, does everybody have a circle? Okay, you guys can see mine. Mine's money. Hello. Okay, awesome. So before we go into the meditation and visualization exercise, I want to see how we're feeling. Does anybody have questions? Does anybody have thoughts around this? Is this making sense for people? Are people getting to just quickly get unstuck? This is your time to ask anything. No question is a silly question.
I want to ask a question. So I love what you're talking about, Jill, and it totally makes a lot of sense to me. What do you suggest when you have a few areas in your life where you really want to work on and they're all important and it's hard to pick, okay, well, which one right now is the most important because I want to work on all of them. So how do you focus on just one when they all seem really important? And how long do you work on one till you kind of switch over to the next one?
Yeah, such a good question, Megan. Thank you for bringing that up, and I'm glad you asked it. So my biggest thing, and you guys, for those of you who are go-getters, take this not as gospel, but take it for what you for what you want to hear out of it. Because you might be like, I can totally attack 4 areas of my life right now for the next 57 days. And I'm going to say, hell yes, and teach me your ways. But for those of you who are busy, for those of you who have a career or have a full life or have a full plate, my biggest piece of advice, and where I've coached people to see success and have the most amazing breakthroughs, is focusing on one area. So, Megan, if you had romance and health and career as all areas for you, if you're like, oh, I want to work on all of these, look at the season of your life. Like, where in your life are you realistically? What do you have going on? Look at your career. Are you traveling a lot? Or are you starting a new side hustle? Like, think of what's happening in your world that you can be like, okay, I got all these things that are moving, these moving pieces in my life, and I'm assessing. And then figuring out, okay, cool, where do I prioritize? Like, what is urgent and important for me to shift or tip at the end of the year for me to feel proud? And if you don't tip all 3 areas at the end of the year, that does not equal you being a failure. It equals you being a badass because you're in this conversation. So my answer to you is prioritize. Prioritize from 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 or 1 to 8. And if you see progression in your 1, how do you shift to your 2? From 2, how do you see progression and success and results, and then shift to your 3? So I'll give you a quick example really quickly as well, and then we'll continue to move on. So I always ask myself, what season of life am I at? And then what goals do I want to accomplish within this season? So last season, I would say, I wanted to really focus on my health, but I was also starting a business. So my head was telling me, I want to figure out all of these health issues that I have going on. I want to sleep better. I want to do all of these things health related while I was starting my business. What took priority was me choosing my business. So my health and my health goals kind of got pushed off to the side. Even though it still was a priority for me, I noticed my time was being spent more starting my business. So from there, I needed to look and ask myself, what goal can I actually write within my business so that I feel accomplished, that I feel like I'm giving myself credit for the work that I'm doing, and that I'm not attaching myself to me being a failure if I'm not working on my health. Does that make sense? And then I launched my business, right? I'm like moving and grooving in my business now. And now I'm like, shit, I now have time to focus on my health. So how do I now come back to that? Because that's always been a priority for me. But my time and the season of my life has allowed me more flexibility, more breath to breathe life into this goal for my health. And I can actually write a goal out of that. Does that make sense? Is that like a good picture for you guys to distinguish the two? Okay. Any other questions for you guys? That was a really great one.
I'll just add, I know I was sharing this with you, Jill, when we were setting up this call, but just recently I realized that in the area of breaking promises to myself, I was breaking all of the promises around my health and fitness routine and just really making a lot of excuses, and it just wasn't working, and it was starting to spill over negatively into all the other areas. So when I looked, although I have goals in all the areas, I'm really committed to getting back into my normal routine in that area in my health. And it's spilling over positively in all the other areas that I also want to work on. So I find that all the time is that when I pick one and I really go all in, it absolutely affects the others as well.
Nailed it. That is so true. And oftentimes when I coach people around vision and goals, they're like, well, like, is it silly for me that I don't drink any water? And like, that's a goal of mine. I'm like, what? That's the most amazing goal. Like, we think of goals that have to be big and audacious. And you guys, they can be so fundamental, because if we're not taking care of our bodies through proper sleep and eating habits or water, like, the goals that you have so big and amazing aren't going to happen. So look granularly at like the fundamentals of your day-to-day life. And maybe it's starting a gratitude practice. Maybe it's just drinking water. Maybe for the next 57 days, you get 7 hours of sleep. Like, amen to parents on the phone or on the line. You know, it's like, that is going to set you up for success. So think about it in that regard as well, that you can shoot for the stars. And if those fundamentals are there and you're like, I'm nailing it, then more kudos to you. It's like, awesome. But how do we make sure that we build a house on a foundation versus just starting to build the walls without anything underneath us? So good. Thank you for sharing that, Linz. Okay, so let's do a little bit of visualization / meditation, because this is a really big piece of the work that I lead to, is having you guys think about what you want in this area of your life. So I asked you, what area do you want to work on for the next 8 weeks? So Megan, for you, maybe you can make a list. Maybe it's your top 3. And for all of you on the line, you can have a top 3 as well. You can have a top 5. You can have a top 8. But you want to make sure that the one that you circled is taking priority over the rest. That you're like, this is where I want to focus my time, effort, and energy. And at the end of 2018, I'm going to stand in this area of my life and give myself so much credit, because I'm going to be so proud at what I've accomplished. Is that clear? Okay, cool. So let's get comfy. So let's remove any papers off of your lap. If you are lying down on a bed, you can still stay lying down, or if you're resting up against something, try, if you're laying down, just find a comfortable seat. You can put your feet on the ground. If you're resting up against something, rest your back up against your bed or a chair. Lengthen the spine so you're not slouching your shoulders. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And I know that might feel weird for some of you. So if closing your eyes is too much, go ahead and just slightly gaze down at your hands resting in your lap. So first, you found your comfortable seat. Your feet might be on the ground or maybe resting on your bed. Your hands are in your lap, your eyes are closed, and you're taking a moment to just locate your breath in your body. So there's no need to control or manipulate. Just feel your breath naturally as it moves in and out of your body. Take a second to work with the breath as the object of this visualization. As the mind wanders, because we definitely have a monkey mind, no big deal, just acknowledge where it lands, and then gently bring the attention back to the breath. So with your eyes closed, take a deep breath through your nose, and then let it all go. Take one more inhale through the nose. This time, keep your mouth closed and then just gently exhale the breath out. Keep your eyes closed and begin to think of the area of your life that you want to prioritize. Choose an area where you have been struggling or would like to experience some transformation. Visualize yourself at the end of the year. What do you want to be proud of? Now begin to imagine a desired outcome, big or small, that you would like to be living in this area of your life 8 weeks from now. So January 1st. Imagine living your life the way you would envision if all of your hopes and dreams were to come true. What is your ultimate reality? Try not to get hung up on limitations or negativity. Instead, just allow yourself to get carried away with your wildest aspirations. Next, with your eyes closed, connect one goal you would like to achieve in the next 8 weeks in this area of your life. It could be fundamental, or it could stretch you into a whole new level of comfort. Make it a good one. If you choose a goal that doesn't carry a lot of weight or isn't all that meaningful, the end result won't feel all that special. So be sure to choose something that matters to you. And once you've carried out this goal, you will feel a high level of accomplishment and feel super motivated to set your next goal. So now that you've connected with your goal, imagine what your life will be like once you've completed it. Create a picture or a movie in your mind and step inside the visual as if you are inside it and looking through your own eyes. What do you see? What do you taste? What do you touch? What do you hear? What's the smell? Create the most positive and most real feelings. Who is there with you? Where are you? What is happening around you? And most importantly, How do you feel? Next, step out of the image you've created and imagine floating up in the air above where you are now, taking the mental image with you, like you're floating away. Take a deep inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, use your breath to energize the image, filling it with positive energy and intention. Do this one more time. Now it's time to imagine floating out into the future and visualize dropping the internal representation of your goal down into your life below. What date do you want to set it for? What date do you want this goal to reach completion? Notice how all of the events between then and now reevaluate themselves to support you in accomplishing your goal. Visualize this process to make it feel real. Once you feel complete, come back to the now. With your eyes still closed, consider what steps you will take in the next week to move you closer to your goal. Take 2 deep breaths to ground yourself. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Okay, so on your paper of your wheel of life, I want you to write steps. Like it could be from this visualization or this meditation. I want you to write a list of your action steps, or you could journal about this experience. But the idea is if the area that you imagined was money, what do you need to do to feel proud at the end of the year? What are your steps to accomplishing that? So just take a couple of minutes because really this work can continue outside of this call. And some of my favorite things to do is write a list of 10. So if your mind is just spinning, figuring out 10 steps, action steps within the area of priority for you will help you figure out where you need to start. So if you're feeling stuck, just write 10 steps that you can do within the area of priority. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to journal, to write your thoughts down. And if anybody right now has a question, pop on and let me know. I'm here to answer anything to help you get unstuck. We all learn from one another. So someone's question might be someone else's question.
Jill, since you've done this so many times before, is there a common set of questions that you get during this that might help spark some conversation or questions with everyone else?
This part, Mary, is so it's so subjective. It's No, I mean, it could, some people could have this crazy imagination and see a lot, and some people don't see anything. So it's totally it just depends on the person, and that's why I like to give a couple of different ways of working through this. So some people want to journal about their experience, like, oh my gosh, I see myself quitting my job and going all in with my side hustle. Like, they know it vividly. And some people, like me, it's really hard for me to visualize, but I love thinking about, I know where I want to go. I know where my vision is. And that's where I love to make a list. I am a lister. I'm like, all right, what do I got to do to get me there? And then, yeah, there's no set questions. There's just different ways of looking at it because we're all different learners.
Beautiful explanation. Thank you.
Well, it was kind of long-winded, so thanks for sticking with me. Okay. So, does everybody have steps? Albert, do you have steps for your career area? Because I know we were kind of workshopping it with you.
I think just like little steps, like you were saying, like I need to take baby steps. So like just getting into like a morning routine, like would be my first step of like giving myself time, to figure stuff out and wake up early and get the day started off right.
Whoa! Okay, that was like 4 steps within one answer. That's amazing. Waking up an hour early, setting up your day, having a morning routine. Okay, that was gold. So bravo. Awesome. Really, really good, because you could say that a goal of yours is at the end of the year that you want to quit your job. And it's like, okay, in order for you to do that, what needs to come first? It needs to be the foundational steps to helping you get to that end goal, if that is a goal. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just using you as an example. So really good on just helping the group see that there was several steps within that one share. So bravo. Okay, so really quick, because we're running low on time. Really quickly, from the steps, you guys, that you created, I want you to figure out what step needs to happen now. So the cool thing about steps within an area that you want to work on, going back to Megan's question, is if you have a goal, again, Albert, I'm just going to use you again. If you have a goal to something within your career, and a step of yours is to figure out a morning routine, to wake up an hour early, to get seven hours of sleep, whatever those steps are, what can take place now that you can start tonight, that you can transfer in tomorrow, and that you can promise yourself that this one step, you don't have to do all 10. You don't have to do all 10. My ask of you in this exercise is finding a habit, is to find consistency in one step. That's it, you guys. It's so simple. And then if you nail one step, guess what? You have 9 other steps to layer in with that one step. So if you want to wake up an hour earlier, guess what? You're going to start tomorrow, and you're going to try that for 7 days. And then say you're consistent for a whole week. Okay, cool. Then you're going to layer on maybe a gratitude practice that you do in your morning that's going to set you up for your day or whatever it is. Then you're waking up an hour early, you're doing your gratitude. Okay, great. What else is next on your steps? So these steps are smaller goals within this bigger goal of yours. Does that make sense? Is that clear for everybody? And you guys, you don't have to accomplish 10 steps by the end of 8 weeks. If you guys can come back to me and say in 8 weeks that you are consistent with one step, like Lindsay said, you're creating a habit and it will spill over into every other area of your life. And we have to retrain our brain. Our brain goes to the lowest level of training that we give it. And that means if we have never trained ourselves to be disciplined at waking up an hour earlier for more than one day, we're not going to be successful at it for the next 8 weeks. So we have to chip away at it. So we're training our brain, we're building that muscle so that at the end of 8 weeks, if you can say that you woke up an hour earlier and it has provided you with mental clarity, it's provided you with more energy, you're more present, whatever these things are, that is so much greater towards the bigger goal of yours at the end. So at the end of 8 weeks, if you guys don't achieve your bigger goal, my hope is that the number on your wheel of life goes up drastically. It's not about achieving a goal. It's about you feeling proud that you focused on something to work towards it to see a different result. That's what goals are about. So questions, with a few minutes remaining, any thoughts, any questions, any aha moments, or if you're like, I'm still confused, can we take this offline? I'd be more than happy to workshop any of this with you guys. So I want to hear from you guys.
Okay, well, I will share that it's funny, some of the ways that you segmented things, breaking them down, even like money and career as separate things. It really has me look at, number one, how much is working well, and then segment and get clear about the main area I want to focus right now. And then, like you said, the priorities 2, 3 from there. So it actually brought me so much clarity, which was the intention for tonight, and you nailed it, as I knew you would. So thank you so much.
Of course, really good. Thanks, Linz.
Anyone else before we wrap up for this first of our call series? You guys rock. I loved all the participation tonight.
Yeah, thank you. It's so hard for me just to like hear myself talk. So I'm like, I need other voices here, please.
Okay, well, real quick, I would love to hear 2 people. Just you can share an acknowledgement for Jill, something you learned tonight, something you're going to take away, just to show her some love for spending an hour of her time with us. So can we have 2 please? 2?
I'll go ahead and
yeah.
go.
Whoever
go
said
ahead,
that, go. No matter how many times I hear this, and I've obviously, like I said, been graced with your presence many times throughout my life in the last 3 years, Jill, it always hits home. It's always nice to reconnect to what our goals are and what the big vision is. Because just like coming off an event, you know, you come off that high of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I have this, I have all these plans for world domination, but then life happens, right? So you come back and you're on this high for like a week, and then week number 2 hits and you're back to your routine, and it's that 9 to 5 and it's the grind, and you know, you lose sight of the excitement that you had coming off the event. So it's nice to just touch base with this stuff, whether it's for an hour out of the week, or, you know, if I get to see you once a month, like it feels really good just to hear it again, because it brings it back to the front of mind.
Good. Thanks, Mary.
So I was just going to share that we shared earlier that I've been reaching some health goals of my own, and I really haven't sat down and looked at my goals in quite a long time. And so kind of that visualization really helped me kind of think where I need to be in the next 8 weeks so I can keep on the trend that I've been on. And I know that I'll be hitting a plateau sometime soon, hopefully not, but I'm still reaching towards those goals, and I'm putting my health first before everything else, even though everything else is important to me. So it's really helpful to just think about those again in a new context.
That's so good. So good. I'm so proud of you. It's amazing.
And then Chip said on the chat she really liked narrowing her focus to one thing. And I think I echo that, Chip. Thanks for sharing that as well, because that was huge for me.
Yeah.
You guys rock my world. I know that we have another handful of people who are going to be watching this recording, but I wanted to, number one, just again say thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Jill, for that session and just for setting the tone for what this series is going to be about, because we truly do want this series to contribute to you having an incremental growth in each of those areas that we talked about tonight. And conveniently, next week we are going to be diving, that's a new word that I came up with, diving into the topic of money and your mindset around money, and how sometimes that can be a block for allowing more abundance, more financial abundance into our lives. So for sure, you will not want to miss that one. That is also going to be trained by a great friend of mine and someone who, through the time I've known her, I've seen her money mindset increase and grow, and then the results follow. So we're going to be diving into that, and then so many other great topics that are going to set you up for success, not only for the end of this year, those 52 days we have left, but to start out 2019 super strong. So I can't wait to see you guys back here, same time, same place, same Zoom link, next Monday night for that chat with Jocelyn Freeman, who's going to be our guest. And in the meantime, feel free to reach out to Jill directly or myself if you have questions, or if there's people you want to invite to join us next week, let me know and we can send them the information as well, or even the recording link from tonight, because obviously we did record this.